Hello, I'm Sydney.
And I'm Melanie.
And this is Drawntaneous.
So Sydney,
Yes.
for this episode, your drawing prompt is to draw an original character as a paladin.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, I do have an original character who is a paladin.
Yeah, but that's too easy.
But you've never drawn him before.
I know, but that's too easy.
Okay. You already know what he looks like.
Do I?
Lucas?
Oh, right. Your Dragon Age character.
Yes.
Yeah, that's too easy.
Who were you thinking of?
I don't know. I didn't have a visual. I was just...
Okay. Do you need a moment to think of a character?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So shall we cut?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna cut this part.
Cut! Alright, so we've settled on what you're gonna draw. Do we want to talk about him real quick?
We'll talk about him later.
We'll talk about him at the end. He is one of my favorite characters that we haven't utilized very much. And hopefully that will change. Is your thing going?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is. I was on the wrong layer.
Ah, the dreaded wrong layer. Alright, well, while you get started, we're going to talk about a topic that was submitted by our Patreon supporter and good friend, Joseph. And Joseph asks us to talk about our favorite dating sims and what would you change about them if you could.
You want to go first?
Mine's really short. My first serious answer is very short because I adore dating sims and visual novels, but I haven't played a lot of them. One, because they're very expensive, typically, and I just don't have enough money to buy all the things I want. And two, I've seen most of the Let's Plays already, so once you see the Let's Plays, it's kind of... it defeats the purpose of playing it yourself. So, like, I've watched things like Dandelion, and I've watched the Hatoful boyfriend, and all that good stuff. But once you watch those Let's Plays, it's like, why would you play the game? So anyways, I digress. The game that's probably my favorite dating sim is Cute Demon Crashers. And content warning, it is an 18+ game. I think there's an option to censor.
There is.
There's a way to censor it, or like they keep the clothes on. But it is a little indie project. You can look it up and download it for free. I think the game was made by SugarScript.
Yes.
If I remember correctly. Yeah, SugarScript. And they're just a little indie for funsies. They don't profit off of this at all. It was for a game jam, I think.
I don't recall.
It was a game jam about sex positivity in one way or another. And they ended up doing a very, very cute dating sim that is very short, very straightforward. The characters are all adorable though, and they're all about like safe, consensual sex. The dating options are all... Actually, there's a gender neutral term for succubi and incubi.
I usually just do cubi.
The dating options are all cubi, and they come in many flavors. I think 3 boys and 1 girl. And yeah, it's just like you're a horny college student, and who is I think the college student is a girl.
It is.
I think specifically you play a girl, and she's alone for spring break, and she's super horny, and she accidentally summons, or it isn't she accidentally summons the cubi. The cubi sense her horniness and are like, you know what, she probably could use our help. So it's very cute. The art style reminds me of Tea House in a way.
Ah, yes.
Because the colors are very similar. It's a very soft, flowy art style. It's very well done. There's really nothing I change about Cute Demon Crashers other than make it longer.
Well, they are making a sequel.
They are making a sequel that is eventually gonna come out. I think they are... Last I heard, they were asking for voice actors. I, again, don't think it's a paid project, like it's gonna be free when it comes out. It's Cute Demon Crashers B-side, and you play a boy this time. And I think it's gonna be specifically a boys love dating sim. Yeah, that's the only one I've played because it was free and it's super cute.
Yeah, we were still like long distance
We
at the
were.
time, and we just screen shared it.
It was so cute. There's no branching options, but like, that's not what you're there for.
You're there to smooch some demons.
Mm-hmm. And
But
it's semi-voiced, which is really cute too.
well, and what was fascinating about it was like in the sex scenes, you can stop at any time.
Yeah.
Like you could just be like, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore," and it would stop.
Mm-hmm. And the Cubi would periodically check in with you and make sure you were okay. So it was very much, they stayed true to their mission, which was to create a dating sim that focused on safe, consensual sex.
Yeah.
There is a secret ending where you get to sleep with all of them at once.
There's also one where you don't sleep with anyone.
Mm-hmm. You just hang out for the spring break and have fun and be friends. It's very cute.
Yeah.
What about you, Sydney? What is your favorite dating sim?
My favorite is Hustle Cat.
Hustle Cat.
I like that one a lot because I like cats. I like witches. I like Graves. He's a nerd.
Nerd alert.
We
We might make a lot of references to Dodger and Octopimp's playthrough of Hustle Cat.
God, I would love them to finish their playthrough because I love Octo's voice for Graves.
I don't remember any of the voice acting. I just remember that they get really enthusiastic about it. And it's great.
Like Octo's like he's really into Mason, who is like a very masculine woman.
She's very stoic.
Yeah, and like every time he's just like, please step on me. And like when they got to the kiss scene for her, he was like screaming.
I do remember that.
But
Oh, goodness.
I really enjoyed Hustle Cat a lot just because it wasn't just like the dating aspect was like a piece of it, but it was more about like breaking curses and like learning your talents.
Yeah.
And
It was more about the visual novel story element of it than the romance option of it. Is the romance optional? Like
no,
you have to romance a character.
you have to romance a character.
Okay.
I believe Finley is the default character you end up with if you don't particularly flag anyone.
Yeah, I was curious if there was like a platonic route or if you ended
There is
up...
not.
Okay.
But I just wanted to smooch Graves, so I had to play all the routes.
I'm just watching these asshole cars slowly make their way.
As they parade about and rev their engines.
We might want to like hold up here a second until they clear out. All right, where were we?
We're talking about Hustle Cat.
Hustle Cat.
But I've played it to completion.
I've watched you occasionally.
Yeah, I think the only thing that bothers me about it, and this is a very minor complaint, and I'm sure you wouldn't be able to tell, but
Is it an art complaint?
It is. There's two different artists for the CGs as far as I can tell, and I can tell the difference between them. And that's all I'm gonna say on it. But it just bothered me because like I noticed, and
It takes you out of the moment.
it does, yeah. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite dating sim, just because like
It has all the elements of like you like domestic magic and you like kind of grand stories.
well, and like a problem I have with dating genres in general is like a lot of them are very shallow, and like that's so dull.
Or like the PC character has zero personality.
He's a Tenchi. Oh, you know what's one I liked playing but you didn't like watching? Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh god, I could no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you.
Yeah, you did not like that one.
No, thank you.
See, that's like an interesting play on like using the genre to try something new.
I didn't even get to the whole creepypasta stuff. Like, I got to the first hints of it. I'm like, no.
Well, and you were watching me, and there was a part where the screen was spinning around, but very slowly, and you were like, what the fuck is happening?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the skill that goes into making a game that is very meta and makes you think that the scripted actions are really happening. So, like...
It's very clever.
What's another game that did that? Other than... So, Undertale is one.
Well, yeah.
But there's another one that's more kind of apparent, I think, but it's escaping me. But Doki Doki Literature Club is 100% like the whole meta is that the game itself is like a virus type thing, and like
well, it's the one character.
The character's like a sentient AI.
Well, she's a not a romanceable character, and she just gets tired of being pushed aside, so she makes herself the star.
And she, like, takes over the game script. It's
the
meta.
The spookiest thing was, like, you can enter your name in the beginning, and at some point, she's like, well, I know that's not your real name. Your real name is... And it says your real name, and I'm like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? I got really freaked out by that.
Oh, you know what? I remember the other game I was thinking about. Pony Island.
I did not play Pony Island.
I watched Pony Island.
I watched Markiplier play it.
I watched Jesse Cox play it.
I'm sure Jesse was probably more entertaining.
I couldn't say I don't really watch Markiplier, but he finished it, and
I watched Markiplier because he's handsome.
Allegedly, Jesse, to this day, has a copy of the game file that he played, because, like, the whole thing is Pony Island is a way to trap souls, and it is made by Satan.
Right.
Yeah. And so the meta for that is, spoilers, like, you trap Satan within the game files, sort of thing. And so, like, Jesse has a USB with the game files where he has trapped Satan.
Nice.
Essentially. You should watch his playthrough, because it's pretty engaging. But yeah, that's another game where, like, it's more transparent, I think, that it's kind of tongue-in-cheek meta. Doki Doki is too real.
Doki Doki, like, did really good anticipation. Like, I knew it was a scary game, but, like, I was not ready for Monica to say my name.
And not only is it a scary game, it's, like, a horror gore, like,
oh yeah,
murder.
there is some gross stuff. One girl, like, stabs herself.
Yeah, there's, like,
one commits
there's a lot
suicide.
of, like, suicide and, like, graphic depictions of just violence that these girls commit on themselves. No thanks.
Okay, so let's move on to the second part of the question.
What would you change about...
So, it's not my favorite dating sim, but I would change it.
Which game?
The Arcana.
Arcana, okay.
Because that's a mobile one, and my main frustration with it is just, like, I don't like having to play it in bursts, because, like, I don't remember things. So, like, I forget parts of the story while I'm waiting for my fucking keys to reload.
You would rather just buy the game outright.
I would love to just buy the whole thing.
Yeah, like, release it for $60 and Sydney will buy it.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously they're gonna make more money by, like, doing the microtransactions. I get it. I can't play it. And I really like the characters, and I want to know what happens to them, but, like, I just can't commit to it.
Right. Oh, you know what's another dating sim that I played that was also on mobile?
Mm-hmm.
I played Mystic Messenger.
Oh, God, I remember that. I remember, like, waking up, and you were, like, playing it.
Mystic Messenger was rough because the game is set up like it is a phone app. And so the game will go off at, like, random times during the night.
Like the characters will call you?
Yeah, they'll, like, call you. Like, okay, so the game won't turn itself on, but it's like you have to be awake and on the game at 3 a.m. or something to get a scene with a specific character.
Listening to the one cry, but, like, because I couldn't see the subtitles, I just hear, like, this just Korean talking and crying, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
It's a game made by the people who did Dandelion.
Of course.
So for that, obviously for that, I would just love to not have the real-time elements in that, because if you're an adult like me, who had a job like me at the time, like, you can't
just wake up at 3 in the morning.
It wasn't possible. Okay, so the point is that it's like, oh, well, you can either wake up at the specific time, or you could buy access to that route that you missed.
The microtransaction bullshit.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yes.
But I didn't really... I kind of like Mystic Messenger because one of the characters I was really into, but, like,
I hate to say it, I don't really like Asian dating sims.
They're very...
I don't have the cultural understanding to appreciate them.
they're very one note also.
Like
find.
with Dandelion, like fucking Jisoo's like the crazy possessive asshole, and I'm like, nothing about this is attractive.
There's very specific tropes, and it feels like all of the female characters are the same.
They're very nameless, very soft and sweet, like, tee-hee, I'm such a loser, no one likes me, but everyone likes them. The only thing I liked about Dandelion was talking about the pressures of being a student, and like that I was interested in was like Heejung like coming into her own, like rejecting her mom and like starting to take care of herself. Like that was the storyline I cared about. I didn't give a shit about these like weirdo boys who were like being buttholes all the time.
What other dating sims? I have a joke one that kind of isn't a joke.
I mean,
but we can talk about it for the last 5-ish minutes of this drawing. You know, it's kind of appropriate because
this is originally a Dragon Age character.
What do you mean? It is a Dragon Age character. So, Sydney, you've drawn Mashev, who is your Kunari. Actually, no, you made him for the Dragon Age RPG.
For the tabletop,
Yeah, so this is your Kunari fighter.
Yeah, he was a fighter.
But honestly, he could have been Paladin if you leveled him up enough. And that is my Nathir?
Yeah, being
his small husband.
Yeah, being his usual self.
I love them so much. But anyways, yeah, probably my favorite and most played dating sim that I've ever played is the Dragon Age games.
I mean, it has dating elements.
It has dating elements, and it's a once you get to Inquisition, that is like the thing I cared most about.
Yeah, you didn't care about the world ending. You were like, just let me smooch everyone.
Let me smooch everyone that I want to smooch. So Dragon Age has a lot of how to put this delicately. I don't want to slam on them, but there's some issues.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam.
Just like historically, like in the Anders episode,
yes,
we've talked about briefly where they don't represent their queer characters very well, and they don't write them very well, and they don't treat them very well.
Like, my feelings about Sarah are very frustrating, where it's like, I want to like you, but you're making it hard.
Yeah, like some of the characters that you want to like, it's like, I just objectively cannot, because
you're being an
asshole. Terrible. Let's see, and a lot of the bi characters, so there's a lot of other literature and writing on this, where basically all of the bi characters and queer characters are coded
they're misfits.
As misfits, or as people who don't belong, or people you shouldn't aspire to be, sort of thing. So like Anders is very demonized in many aspects. Zevran is a slut, is how they code him. And like,
and they play that off like that's a bad thing.
Yeah, but like also, if you play his storyline, he's traumatized and he has like PTSD, and he's
more interesting than just being sexy.
He is so broken, but the romance options that you get for him for his end romances is really shitty. Like his best ending is you manipulate him into marrying you and committing to the relationship, which is super gross. I never make him do that because the dialogue's just so cringy and just
especially because like
super abusive.
Yeah, because that's what people did to him in the past.
And so
like Isabella's played to be a bad character.
Yeah, but it's just like she is a sexually liberated woman.
Yeah,
and she's a woman of color.
But
and
like,
she's bi.
But like, what makes it a problem is that the straight characters are often virtuous, and there's two exceptions to this, I would say, and that would be Liliana and Morrigan. Because Morrigan's straight, but I wouldn't call her a virtuous character.
No.
And Liliana is a bi character, but she's also
she's also the fandom's favorite.
She's not,
or like the dev's favorite and straight guy's favorite.
Yeah, she's not virtuous, but like, by being a part of the Chantry, she kind of like earns that virtuosity anyway.
I don't think it's virtue so much as she is put on a pedestal.
Yes.
And like she is something to aspire to be.
which I don't want to be.
No.
Liliana, because she's kind of a jerk.
I was also gonna say Blackwall, but he's not. He's straight. You were talking specifically about like straight characters.
Yeah, straight characters
or
are
queer characters.
Yeah, the queer characters are often demonized. So, like in Dragon Age 2, all the romanceable characters are misfits in different ways. And then Origins, Zevran and Liliana are the only bi options, right? Like the only queer options.
Yes.
Yeah, and like both of them are misfits in the game.
So
it's frustrating.
I love a lot of things about Dragon Age, but I also recognize there's a lot of issues with Dragon Age, and it's just like, oh, I wish you were better. I wish so many things.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. Anyways, we're getting close to time. We could talk about like.
We'll talk about Dragon Age forever.
We could, but I would rather not. This is supposed
We'd
to
rather
be
talk about Mashev.
Yeah, Mashev is. Oh yeah, let's talk about Mashev.
And you can hear the change in my voice.
That like Mashev's a muffin.
Yeah,
he's so sweet.
He was a Kunari fighter in a D&D tabletop game we did.
Was he Kunari or was he?
He was Kunari.
Okay.
But he's like, well, he's Talvashoth, so he's
there,
like...
And that's what I was getting at. I'm like, I know he's...
He's... I don't want to say Kunari race because there's game reasons, but people know them as the Kunari. So, like...
Yeah, I forget the canonical, like, what their ethnic...
They're called Kosseth or whatever, but, like, that's just, like... That was retconning.
Yeah, anyways.
But, he likes to cook and bake, like, that's what he lives for. His name in the Kunari language actually means,
to eat,
To
right?
eat, yeah. Because, when you leave the Kunari religion... you can name yourself because you don't have a name. You have a series of numbers under the Qun. So he named himself because he loves food. And he has a tiny elf husband who is a spicy little boy.
Spicy little boy. He wants to fight everything, and his name's Nathir, and he's a Dalish hunter. And he just, oh boy.
Yeah.
Don't get him started. He will fight you.
Mashev would make a good paladin because, like, he does have a strong sense of, like, right and wrong and wanting to help people. He just usually prefers to do it through the stomach rather than through the sword.
They're good foils for each other because, like, Mashev doesn't stand up for himself, so Nathir will do it for him. But then Nathir gets a little too intense and extreme, and Mashev is there to kind of, like, calm him back down.
They're
an
not
like,
a couple.
Hey, like, don't murder that person just because they called me fat or something.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it.
But, like, Mashev's design was born of just, like... Nobody made chubby Kunari characters. They were all, like, super buff.
They were all super ripped.
And it's like, give me my doughy boy.
He's a good doughboy.
I love him. But, that wraps us up for this episode. So thank you for tuning in.
And thank you, Joseph, again for that talking point. Hopefully you guys listening will be interested maybe by the various dating sims we've talked about and maybe look them up.
Go give them money.
Definitely go look up Cute Demon Crashers if you're of age because, oh my goodness, it's very cute. Like, you won't be disappointed by
And if you're
the
not
fluff.
of age, play Hustle Cat. That one's adorable and sweet.
It is.
Please give them the money.
Please do. And
Speaking of money.
Yeah, speaking of money, it's the part of the show where we advertise our own shit. If you want to see more of Sydney's art, you can always find her on Twitter and Instagram under CC Luna Art. And if you like what we're doing, hang on. And if you like what we're doing, you should go on down to Ko-fi and Patreon, where you can find Sydney as CC Luna. And if you leave a Ko-fi, you can put a comment and suggest various topics and drawing prompts as well. And Patreon's a subscription thing that you probably all know about. Anyways, we might shorten that.
That's perfectly fine.
Thanks for listening, guys!
We'll see you next time.